Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
Boys and girls, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I need to remember that we broadcast to the world nowadays. Welcome in. Hope everybody is good. Whether you're watching live or later on in the VOD, welcome, welcome. We need to change this, don't we? We need to change this real quick. Professional streamer. Failed attempts, 0. I have not entirely decided if we're going to spend the day farming ashes again. But we got some stuff to talk about today. Coffee on the go. Oh my lord, Chalida with the 80 stream streak. That is very impressive. That deserves significantly more than 450 coffee beans. That's actually wild. That is actually madness. You know what? We need to fix this. We need to fix this. That is actually madness. Hang on. Hang on. There we go. We fixed that. We got to fix a few things here. Please hold. Bonkers. Sorry, I forget that Team YouTube is not got the music in the background, so it looks a touch weird at the moment. Please ignore. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages. Today is going to be a fun one, I think. We've got some good stuff to talk about. We have some news for World of Warcraft going into Season 4. Let's turn the tunes down just a touch. Dizzy's screaming at me. We got some news for Season 4, which I don't want to go over too early in the stream, so I'd like a few people to join in and to flow in and join with the discussions. But early look at what we might be getting for Season 4 and some subtle changes to the structure of Mythic Plus is exciting to me, as it pushes a lot of the things about Mythic Plus that are less favourable to me, pushes them into a smaller range. Meaning that actually doing some Mythic Plus and running some dungeons again might actually be a interesting, end game activity for me, which it hasn't for a fair few years now, which I'm kind of intrigued about. We'll look at that a little bit more. Did I hear that we might be getting 10 to 20 centimetres of snow? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did notice that we were likely to get more snow. Who turned winter back on again? I was quite enjoying the start of spring, truth be told. Sun was coming out, the snow was melting away, finally getting towards the end of winter. Now, admittedly, in about 2 weeks' time, I'm going on a skiing holiday for a week, so I'm gonna have the snow thrown at me in that regard. But I was kind of hoping, home territory, that snow was going to be done, but apparently not. Apparently not. What are you going to do though? What can you do? What can you do? Zio, I should send a firm thank you for the Prime as well. Appreciate that. 6 months now. Thank you very much. Good morning to you as well. Don't want any more snow? Oh, tell me about it. Snow can go away now for the most part. Probably not all that interesting, is yes, I am taking a week off at the end of this month. And me and Mrs. Manthias are going up north. One of her family members has rented out a chalet that's way too big for just them, so they've invited other people to join. So it's a cheap skiing holiday, which you can't really turn down, honestly. I'm not super excited because I've only ever been snowboarding twice. And on both occasions, I twisted my knee. So I am quite content with not actually doing any snow-related activities, but maybe some huskies or some sledging or something. I spent way too much of my younger life doing stupid things which have broken certain parts of my body in ways that are unrepairable. So yes, I'm old. My right knee is completely busted. This is more from playing football as a kid than anything else. My right knee is completely busted, and I've twisted it twice while snowboarding, which I'm not really too fond about doing again, if I'm all honest. But you can't turn down a cheap skiing holiday, so. Doggos are coming with, yes. This is the fun thing, right? The doggos are coming with us, so it'll be good for the dogs, considering they are Lapland dogs. By definition, they are designed for the snow and the cold weather. They absolutely love it, so it's more for them than it is for me. Right, let's get some stuff listed though. I'm just thinking, should we? They've made some changes to the Hearthstone event as well, haven't they? They've made it so that they spawn all at the same time on the hour, I believe. Where was the? While we're posting some auctions, we'll scout some news. Some news. Where's the? My God, what happened to the token price? Sheesh. Oh. You know what's going on here. You know what's going on here, don't you? You know why the token price is going to the moon. Flipping Hearthstone expansion launches today, doesn't it? Lord have mercy. I thought we'd got away from 400k tokens. It's coming back again. Where was the thing I was looking for? Yeah, here we go. Whizbang now spawns in all 3 locations every hour. With a hotfix that's now live on all realms, Whizbang's portal should now spawn simultaneously in all 3 locations every... It doesn't actually say on the hour, but it does say every hour. Quote, should. Yeah, should. Should now spawn. I think he was supposed to spawn every time anyway, but this should continue for the duration of the Hearthstone event. Famous last words there, Blizzard. Well done, but we'll see. So it means we should be able to camp that a little bit more to get the last few little bits and bobs from that. I've got the mount. I've got the pet. I've got the bag. I've got the toy. I think I'm missing the Hearthstone and like the hat, I think. The cosmetic hat, maybe. I can't quite remember. All the things will probably tell me. In theory, at least. Welcome in, Lady Daisy. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. The only activity that's good with skiing is after ski. Yeah, I mean, it's I might take a walk up the mountain to the bar. I will have my hot chocolate with a schnapps shot, maybe. That I will indulge in for sure. ATT's been updated as well. Nice, okay. We'll have a look in a minute. What's this thing down to now? Okay, more modest pricing. More modest pricing. It's still a bit wild that this thing's bind on equip, honestly. I'm tempted to, at some point, maybe buy a couple of these. Because this could, if this ends up being a one-time only thing, if these stay bind on equip, these could continue to be worth money, because this is literally a one-time only ever thing. That's the recipe for money. What's the haunted memento? Now I know that's an appearance change thing, which is a little bit different, but you know, anything that is a one-time only ever thing tends to hold its value pretty well. For the avid of collector, at least. But I made a monumental mistake by losing a bunch of lovebirds to the mailbox monster. So maybe I should be a touch more careful. I should probably log the main account in, shouldn't I? Oh, the main account is logged in. It was logged in before the servers came back up again. Sold a Haunted a few days ago for 650k. Oh my lord. Sheesh. Wait, no, hang on. What have I done here? That's... Oh, no, I've gone and broken it now, haven't I? Because yeah, flipping out. Alright, cool. Thanks, game. Logged into the same account twice. That was not smart. Fix that problem. Actually, thinking about it, all my main account characters are going to be in the Tempest Keep, aren't they? Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. Let's... Well, maybe we will get this dude. Now, I logged off in Tempest Keep. Is it going to port me outside automatically? This is one thing I didn't check. We have had reset, so in theory it should port me out to the beginning, right? Waiting. More waiting. Lots of waiting. Oh, God! It's Hearthstoned me. Oh, no. That means every one of those characters is going to go back to their Hearthstone location. Oh, that's mighty annoying. Yeah, that's mighty annoying. It doth not put Hearthstone on cooldown, but it has... Ha, okay. Yeah, that's hella annoying. Go on, sell stuff then. What's going on? Why, oh, what's going on here? Why is everything broken? Oh, now it works. What's that one? Merciless Gladiator Chain Spaulders. I need these. If I just right-click on this, though, I'm not going to get it, am I? I'm going to have to go to the Isle of Quell Danas and exchange this for the actual shoulders, aren't I? I've made that mistake before of accidentally right-clicking on this. Same with this, actually. Both of those. Yeah. Let's not make that mistake. Phoenix Hawk hatchling. What are these things worth? 400 gold apiece. Okay. Less than a world quest. Okay. Well, I was going to head back to Tempest Keep, but in all honesty, since I'm not already there, maybe we'll chill up here for a minute. Wait for this to do its thing. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's literally dead here. So maybe it's not on the hour every hour. Alright, sure. Well, let's get back to doing auctions first. Oh, I spent most of yesterday evening diagnosing and trying to fix my PC-related problems. My PC was randomly restarting itself, or so I felt it was randomly restarting itself. Now, it wasn't crashing during load at any point, which kind of swayed me away from thinking it was like the graphics card or it was the RAM, because it was more often than not resetting itself whilst basically idle. Maybe I was watching a YouTube video and doing nothing else, or the computer was just completely idle. Rarely did it while I was at the PC. I would go away, come back, and my computer would have appeared to have restarted. And it was problematic, but I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it because there's some weird shenanigans going on with my CPU and the power supply. When it goes into low power mode, it was going into too low power mode and accidentally cutting the power to the CPU, which was causing it to reset. So I had to tweak around in the BIOS yesterday. The TLDR to all of this is I'm hoping by fixing one thing I haven't broken two things, which is often the case with PCs. You fix one thing and two things break. I'm hoping that's not the case. But if we have technical issues today or the stream randomly stops for some reason, you know why. I've made that mistake too many times already. Losing stuff to the mailbox monster is problematic. But this is what happens if you go play other games and forget your auctions for a month. Or just don't pick up stuff out the mailbox fast enough. Is ATT going to have updates for this thing? Probably need to look at a specific area for it, right? What would it be? Promotion? Hearthstone 10th anniversary? Mini list, here we go. So this is what I actually need, apparently. This is what I still need. Oh, yeah, it claims I still need the game table. I have one. I'm just, you know, willing to sell it currently. We need a bunch of the cards still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the cards to complete the card collection. The Stone of Hearth, Reno's Lucky Hat, and also the Taverner's Belt, apparently. So still a few things to grab. Rexy, how we doing? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. But I think probably my main focus today is going to be on getting a few auction stuff done. Probably a few Ashes runs. I still think it'd be funny to get the mount within, like, you know, 50 attempts or something. we've got the characters to do it. I should probably use all of these characters I've got to my advantage a little bit more by farming some mounts with them. Especially in stuff that's like weekly lockouts. One of the advantages of having plenty of characters. We put, what did I do? 13, 14 attempts at it yesterday. No success. No streamer luck yesterday. But today will be today is a new day. So, we'll see. I'm going to assume this is on the hour every hour. It may or may not be the case, but I'm going to assume that's the case. I wonder, actually, if it's going to do the same thing with all of my characters. The only thing that might... See, all of my characters are currently in Tempest Keep, in theory. Now, I thought, if I logged out at Kel'Thuzas, and when reset happens, that it would just port me outside. But it seems to Hearthstone me, for some reason. Which means it's going to put most of my characters back in Valdrakken. Which means it's a trek to get back there again, which is a touch annoying. And I've done that on like 15 characters. The table is a drop from the achievement. Yes, correct, yeah. Once you've collected 10 of the cards, you get the table. But for some reason, it's sellable. So... Sure. That always happens, by the way. You've got to log out outside the raid. Oh, that's annoying. That means you got to, you know, it's, to be honest, it probably takes me. I tell you what, there's one way to find out this, isn't there? Should we do this? Should we see how fast it takes me to get back to the instance from here? Oh, is taking a portal going to reset that timer? No, it doesn't. Okay. Now, theoretically, if we take the Dark Portal route, we shouldn't have to alter the timeline, because I've done all of that already, I believe. We should just be able to go straight through. Hellfire Peninsula, there we go. And then Portal to Tempest Keep is a minute away. Less than, with a bit of vigor usage. Bit of creative dragon riding. I think my graphics settings are on 1 again, accidentally. Because my draw distance is about 2 inches by the looks of things. Yeah, so realistically, it actually takes me less than 2 minutes to get back to the instance, so it's not that bad, really. But yes, doing the cheeky group up shenanigans is probably the path to take. Yeah, the table's not a table. The table is a drop. I don't think it drops. I think it's only from the achievement. I'm pretty sure it's only from the achievement. I don't think I've seen it drop for people. But I might be incorrect. I've not paid too much attention. I would like the graphics to look a little bit better than 2006, though. Didn't buy a high-end gaming PC to run it at 1 quality. Right, there we go. I've seen it come from the blue card thingy. Oh, what, really? So even the when it tells you you're going to get a pack, it will. Okay. Well, needless to say, people are probably going to be able to get their hands on a couple of them before the end of the event, but that doesn't change the fact that once the event's over, they're theoretically gone forever. So, if anybody's got some spare gold lying about, it's not a terrible investment opportunity. If you're willing to take the risk. Obviously, standard risks apply here. There's no guarantee that they'll hold their value or go up in value. Especially if everybody has the same idea. Right, attempt 1 of the week. Right, I need all the stream luck, boys and girls, today. I don't know what happened yesterday, but my streamer luck just stopped working for some reason. Rip my inventory after doing all of this, actually thinking about it, but... Sanguinar. Poke. Oh, I didn't go kill High Astromancer. I need a couple of things from him still. Who was the... you? In theory, I should kill these all in one spot, shouldn't I? So then when they all spawn at the same time, it's easy to AoE them down with a Divine Storm. Didn't think about that. $700 weapons. Oh god, now TSM's broke. Oops. See if we can time this right. Get this lot listed in between. I have 3 screens on the go. I should just put my auction house account on another screen, but... Whoa, whoa, Sky Fury headdress. Why is that being posted at redonkulous prices? We need to tone down those prices somehow. Are you going to do your thing yet? How slow are you? One day I will create like the ultimate all-in-one operation for TSM. Ah, nearly got them all. Nearly got them all. Now you're dead.
Go in peace.
Right, you do your thing. Oh, we actually sold some stuff. We actually sold... Whoa, Strength of Menethil. What are you? That sounds like a Nax craft. Is that a Nax craft? Ledger, revenue... Strength of Menethil. Oh, it is. Oh, I've sold a few of these. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Hang on. We just got to quickly loot ashes. No stress, you know, just loot it. Kill boss, loot it. Easy, right? Kill boss, loot it. Job done. No problem. Easy. No, never lucky. Stupid game. Right, let's not make the same mistake this time then of getting ourselves trapped in here. Let's for starters, I need to kill High Astromancer Duty fella anyway, because he's got some extra bonuses that I need. So as we're here on a plate wearing character, it makes sense. And then we'll do the cheeky dungeon ench group thing. Can you sell ashes already if you've already got it? Unfortunately not, no. You can delete it though, which would lead to an interesting clip. I don't think there's many people that have bothered to farm ashes twice. Truth be told, if you could just buy ashes, I would not be farming it. Alright, we need some boots of resilient and a girdle of righteous path, apparently. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I should never have picked up all of these, should I? Boom! One down. One down. Right. He'll go to the outside then. So these Strength of Menethils. Let's have a look at this then. Blacksmithing, Naxcraft. Sold a few of these. Sold 4. For as low as 15, but for as high as 44. So a nice average on those of... What's that make the average? 27? 26? 13k crafting price right now. Now, way back when, the crafting price was probably substantially higher, but... and then 120 days ago, I sold one for 15k, which was very cheap, but they're now back up to 23. I'll take it. Sure. Should probably craft another one of those then. Outside of that, though, nothing particularly fancy to shout about sales-wise.
Greetings, traveler.
Have we been ported out yet? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to need to do that. We're going to need to port out, and then we can just log out here, can't we? That makes more sense. Not only that, but we can also probably get rid of some trash while we do it. Now is where we probably mark things. So then we don't have to do it again. I've already got that one. I really wish this little add-on that allows you to mark things was not on a per character level. I really wish this was account-wide. Actually, thinking about it, I'm going to run this place so infrequently after this. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense to mark them. Merciless Gladiator something something something. Okay, we need things from this. Let's not delete that then. Another one where I think we need to go to the Isle of Quel'Danas. What's this? Boots of Blasting. Tailoring. We've got that one apparently. Random ass 5 of Furies. We don't need that. Boots of Utter Darkness. We've got that one. See you later. Right, that'll do. Log out. Think of all the mog you're getting at the same time. Well, this is kind of my theory. I'm not the biggest of transmog farmers in any way, shape or form. But as and when I do anything like farming a mount or farming a recipe or something like that, I try to combo it up with at least collecting some other stuff that's in the same sort of place, if you know what I mean. Kind of makes it feel a little bit more worth. Right, next dude. Is that everything listed now? That's everything listed, so we can set this dude up to do some portals for some Hearthstone stuff. We use you. Ow, flipping out. Well, this dude's Hearthstone is set in a funky place, eh? This was probably all the way from Nax farming days. Sure. Sure. Okay. Well, it's not too bad of a trip back either way. I like the fact that we have portals to get places quickly in retail. But at the same time, it's kiss curse for me. Because I kind of think that, well, you can get practically anywhere in any continent within like 2 minutes if you know where you're going. It really does shrink the size of the world. But it's a problem that's kind of not solvable anymore. There's too many zones. You have to have portals to do stuff, really. Right, we got full inventory? No, inventory's not too bad. Right, let's get this dude set up to do some portals. Now, the portal claims it's going to be in Stormwind in 16 minutes. I'm not sure I believe this week aura now, considering stuff's changed. Because they should spawn all at the same time, regardless. So I think we can probably delete that one now. Right. Ashes, come to me. Do we need other stuff? Do we need cloth stuff from here? We do. Yeah, they spawn all in the all at the same time now. In theory, there was an update to it. Yes, there was a blue post. So you should be able to just chill at whichever zone you want, and they should all spawn at the same time. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any weird and wackiness that you can do with porting between realms and areas by getting into groups and stuff. I don't know, but there's probably ways and means to kill it more than once an hour still. I've stuck around in Valdrakken after the portal, and it comes back around about 50% of the time a few minutes later. Oh, what, really? Oh, okay. Multi-dollar company, yeah. Random is random, I suppose. I mean, I'll just keep that dude camped at Valdrakken most of the day while I'm going about my business. I kind of feel bad for people who have one account though. These events must be absolutely grim if you've only got one account, because this is not fun, right? I just want to clarify, this is not fun. This is not gameplay. It shouldn't, in my opinion, even be rewarding. You're rewarding people for wasting time. And that's not even like a subjective opinion. Like, you are genuinely... Because you could argue that, you could argue that gaming full stop is a waste of time. But the point is that you are, in theory, enjoying whatever it is you're doing. This isn't gameplay. This is the definition of a waste of time. Exploit early, got the event done the evening of the day that it started. Yeah, see, this is it. Like, that's another great example of exploit early, exploit often. Portals were bugged in Stormwind on the first evening. People chain killed it like 50 times in the night. Got the entire thing done. GG, and then they can go about their day. It's It's worthwhile doing, but it's kind of frustrating for those that then don't. Missing 5 cards? Yeah, weirdly, I think the cards are going to be the more difficult thing to actually get all of. I'm pretty convinced the first time you kill it during the day as well, it's much like the Lovers in the Air event and stuff, where you get a massive increase to your chance at rewards. The first time I killed it yesterday, I got the mount. What did I get? I got 3 things in one go. I think I got the bag, the mount, and I think the pet all in one go. So your first kill of the day is like amped up, I think. So if you are going for something like the bag, for example, make sure to do it on your main character the first time that day. I've got it on my main now, so I'm happy to just do it on alts, but... Oh, that's a point. Is the card achievement an account-wide achievement as well? It appears it is. that's leather working again. Mythic Key gameplay is the same most of the time. Well, at least with, you know, at least with doing Mythic Keys, you're actively doing something. Or the goal is to do something. There is no goal, there's no end result of this other than you nuke a boss and then loot it. This is literally like putting, you know, playing the slot machine. But you only get to put your dollar in the slot machine like once an hour. It's, you know, imagine if casinos made you sit there for 59 minutes between putting in your dollar, you know. Responsible gambling. Yeah, clearly. The responsible thing is just to not do it. Look for a key for 30 to 60 minutes, then you enter. The tank dies on the first pull. You get out. Rinse, repeat. Well, this leads me nicely into some of the changes that we have now seen for Season 4 around Mythic Plus. And from my perspective, and in my opinion, let me clarify, other people's opinions may be different, but in my opinion, the changes look very positive. They are squishing the Zug Zug, must go faster, affix headache of Mythic Plus into like the end bit of gearing. Meaning that people who do not care so much for the Zug Zug approach, do not care so much for the affix headache, can still engage with dungeon content whilst obtaining a higher standard of gear. And if you really want to push to the upper echelons of what is capable, then you can still do so. Not a squish, more of a shift. Yeah, it was interesting how they sold it. They seem to sell it. I mean, Blizzard historically sell things in a very weird and wacky way. We'll have a little look at the article in a minute after this kill, but it's generally it looks pretty positive as far as I'm concerned. There's this weird. There is a real oddity about the fact that normal dungeons and heroic dungeons are almost indistinguishable. A queued for dungeon right now, normal, heroic, exactly the flipping same. Like, considering, well, should I say, they're probably not if you're gear appropriate. There ain't nobody in their right mind that's going to run a normal or heroic dungeon after about the first week of an expansion, because there's just no real reason to. Even doing some world content will get you better gear in most cases. Mythic Zeros have always felt a bit of an oddity because they're on a weekly lockout, so you can only do them once a week. You can't queue for Mythic Zeros, you have to use the group finder system. And the problem is you so very rarely would ever find anybody willing to do Mythic Zeros. They've always been in this weird situation. Mythic Zeros are even worse than Heroics. Mythic Zeros, people would do them week 1 because Mythic Plus isn't out. They do their Mythic Zeros because at the time that is like, it's like pre-Mythic Plus BIS. It's weird, Mythic Zeros. But hopefully they can now slightly make Mythic Zeros a touch more relevant for most players. You might start to see more groups forming for them. Because a Mythic Zero will be on the same difficulty, they claim at least, the same difficulty as what a plus 10 is now. But obviously minus the timer, minus the affixes, which sounds good to me. Not so much into WoW, but it's fun to watch on and off. Is it weird I find it relaxing? No, not at all. This is one of the main concepts of streaming, I think. You vicariously can enjoy the content without actually having to do it yourself. I think this is the first time Blizzard calls them Mythic Zeros. I still think it should be Mythic 1. Then you get a +2 key. Yeah, maybe. It's, either way. I mean, it's same concept, really, but... You get green items off the auction house and you go do an 18 key. At least it was like this the second and third season. I mean, like I said, I need to clarify here at this point that I do not engage and have not engaged in Mythic Plus for years, predominantly because I don't really enjoy repetitively grinding the same dungeon on an ever increasing difficulty. That concept for me just doesn't gel well. The timer aspect of it has always been a problem for me. I feel it creates far more of a zug kind of There was no RP there. Where was the like 3 minutes of AFK RP on that one? Either I was so distracted talking to you guys I completely ignored the fact that it existed, or it just didn't exist. How did I kill that dude so fast? That clearly means he's dropped his mount, right? Surely. It's got to be. There's only one solution. He must have dropped the mount. Must have dropped the mount. 100%. See? Just loot it. Damn. Stupid game. Stupid game. You just zoned out. Equally quite possible. Stella, I'm good though. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you're also well. Any day I get to sit at the computer and play video games for you guys, it's a good day. You didn't RP walk, so it got removed. I love how much it triggers people that I don't RP walk. Mythic 0 will be good for those that are not enjoying Mythic Plus. Heroics will also be a better path for gearing in later patches in each expansion. I mean, assuming they keep this progress, right? We should probably actually look at this so those who are playing catch up, or at least have something visual on screen, we can look at this. I was tweeting about this yesterday, by the way. Shameless promo time. Shameless promo time. If you're not following me on Twitter, you damn should be. Just saying. Or sorry, X. Still says Twitter in the name, for Christ's sake. So where is it then? Where's it gone? This one. So let's take a little look at this in a bit more detail then. Exactly, who goes to x.com? It's clearly twitter.com. It will always be Twitter, for sure. Regardless to what Elon says. Right, so let's turn the tunes down in the background in case I harvest this. Right, so yeah, Dragonflight Season 4 dungeon changes. These are subtle, but quite positive changes, I think. So, as part of the ongoing development in Dragonflight, the development team identified 3 issues to address based on community feedback regarding the dungeon system. 1, the heroic dungeons are barely distinct from normal dungeons whilst at maximum level, and that distinction mostly only matters during a few days after players reach max level. True, because many players would just go straight into mythics the second they become available. And I think, honestly, the fact that heroic dungeons, you can't tell the difference between a normal and a heroic dungeon is mostly because you vastly outgear both of them anyway. The reality is you probably just shouldn't be there. And so, you know, if you kill something in 10 seconds or 9 seconds, it doesn't matter, does it? You know, it's just getting absolutely slapped at that point. Mythic 0 dungeons rapidly lose... This is very small text. What's the... There we go. Let's get some bigger text on the go there. That was very tiddly, wasn't it? Mythic 0 dungeons rapidly lose their relevance a few weeks into the expansion. I wouldn't even argue that they last that long, to be honest. Once the Mythic Plus season starts, with very occasional exceptions for weekly event quests, or, you know, on the oddity chance that there's like a specific trinket or something that drops in them. Very, very rare occasions. Most people don't care. They all do their Mythic 0 sweep week 1, once they ding 70 or whatever max level is. And then soon as Mythic Plus launches, they never even think about a Mythic 0 ever again. The only truly endgame dungeon mode becomes Mythic Plus, which currently revolves around a timer. This means that other than new mega dungeons, there isn't really a place for endgame players who just enjoy a more methodical dungeon pacing and gameplay. No denying, this is one of the big reasons why I don't do Mythic Plus. It's not that I'm against the timer per se. I'm against the mentality that the timer brings to the table. The timer will often mean that people are far more concerned about hitting the time limit, right? And that means in turn they're also far more strict and strenuous about who they bring. People rage quit, you know, people are going to rage and just quit the very second somebody dies. And this is predominantly because if you don't meet the timer, you might as well not be doing it in most people's minds. So removing the timer would kind of in a way mean that players, in theory, right, this is very hypothetical, but in theory, removing the timer gives the opportunity for people to be slightly more flexible about who they bring, and equally slightly more flexible about the occasional fault within the dungeon, right? So I like the fact that they are not removing the timer completely, because there are some people that enjoy it, but they're reconfiguring how it works. Oh, the Hearthstone event is up, is it? Is it? We do have a portal. The portal. What's going on here? Hang on. There's an add-on that's causing craziness. Which one is it going to be? Who is it? Who is it? Which one of you is it? I know exactly which one of you it is. Oh, it's not on. Yes, it is. Well thought it. Well thought it causes UI issues for me for some reason. Let's wait for this to reload. Okay, Battle Pet Cage Match is still broken. I know that's still broken. Right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I guess we'll leave it on this while we take a little bit of a look into this again. So yeah, the timer's not going away, but they're sort of pushing the timer only to the upper limits of Mythic Plus, which I think is good. So given the combination of 2 underutilized difficulties and a gap in meeting player demand, we're restructuring the dungeon difficulty and the rewards that are coming up in Season 4. So heroic difficulty and the rewards will move up to roughly what the current level of Mythic 0 is. So not a big bump in any way, shape or form. Probably likely just to be sort of a tweak of the numbers of the mechanics, right? If a boss does an AoE cleave, it's just going to have its damage ramped up a little bit. So it's just that little bit more important for you to get out of the way, but it's not going to be anything particularly game-breaking. But it should hopefully make a stepping difference, or make it so that players feel that there's a difference between the normals and the heroics. Normals will be for your leveling up. Let's not forget that follower dungeons are a thing now in normal mode, so you don't even need other players to play normal. Heroic will be your first stepping stone into something a little bit more challenging, presumably focused towards max level content, and then the quote-unquote difficult mode will be the new Mythic 0. So, for reference, heroic dungeons, these dungeons will remain available to queue into via the group finder, although the item level requirement to queue will also go up accordingly. Item levels are changing as well. We'll look at that in a minute. Mythic 0 difficulty and its rewards will move up to be roughly what the equivalent is of a Mythic 8 to 10 right now. This is a bit hand-wavy, numerically close to a Mythic 10, but because it doesn't have the timer or the affixes, it might offset it a little bit. Same scenario, Mythic Zeros will probably just means that bosses will all of a sudden start to have one-shot mechanics. That if you don't pop a defensive cooldown or you get hit by it, you die. There's nothing your healer's going to be able to do for you. It will be a little bit more brutal, structured around to what an 8 to 10 is now. But I like the fact that there'll be a more difficult option without affixes to worry about, without timers to have to deal with. But of course, Mythic 0 will still be a group. You will have to use the group finder. You will not be able to queue for Mythic Zeros. You'll have to put your own groups together. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. And then the existing Mythic Plus system will pick up where that leaves off. So, such that a Mythic 5 in Season 4 is roughly the equivalent difficulty and will award the Mythic Plus rating of, say, a Mythic 15 today. So, this is more of how it's going to look. We'll take a look at this in a bit more detail in a second, because we have a boss to kill double time. Let's pew you real quick. You only come around once an hour, so let's make sure we do it. Right, first time of the day. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? I need to fix my key bindings. Not the time to be doing this particularly, but there we go. There we go. I've literally never been hit by that before. I didn't even know he had a mechanic. He's always died within seconds. Right. Give me all the loots. Oh, we got the belt. Okay, I'll take that. Definitely take that. That's one more off our list. Where's our ATT list, actually? No. Oh, I haven't even got all the things switched on this character. Add-ons, all the things, reload. Can you imagine not having all the things? Shocking. Yeah. Add-ons. Is it promotion? Yeah, Hearthstone 10th anniversary. That's what we need. You can go there. Where did my belt go? Beautiful. One down, more some to go. See you in an hour. Although somebody said that it actually occasionally pops back up again. So let's see. No cards, no loot for the last 2 days on my main. Ouch. Can't have ATT active at the same time as real life. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, real life will get in the way very fast. So yeah, this is now going to be how the dungeon progression looks. And I think this is a vast improvement, honestly. And we'll look at the item level bandings in a minute, because that sort of emphasizes it more so. So in today, you know, normal dungeons you do whilst you're leveling. Once you're done leveling, you might dabble with a couple of heroic dungeons. But the reality is most people, let's be real, outside of Season 0, outside of a 0.0 patch, most people just, they ding and then they go straight into Mythic Plus dungeons. They completely skip heroics, which kind of makes them a bit weird and just kind of, why are they here? Most people even skip Mythic Zeros. They're going straight into timed dungeons for the most part. Now they're going to try and stage it so that heroics are actually of value for you to do, and is that there is almost, should I say, a dungeon progression system to a degree. You know, heroics will be, you can queue for them, you random group find them, all good. But your Mythic Zeros will be where you probably do need to know the mechanics. You'll have to find a group of people to do these. But they should be a touch more brutal than your standard heroics and are the equivalent of what like a Mythic Plus 10 is today. Without the timers though, without the affixes to deal with. It's just about, this is the boss, these are the, understand the mechanics of the boss and do it properly. I think Mythic Zeros could end up being quite good for players like myself, for those who don't particularly like the zug, the time aspect and stuff. And as you can see, whereas today, when it comes to dungeon progression, I practically don't run any dungeons for the reason that normals are just for leveling anyway. If you're already level 70, heroics seem pointless because world content, you can go do world quests often and get better loot than you would do in heroics. It seems kind of pointless. And Mythic Zero groups are nearly impossible to actually find and get people for unless you are actively trying to do them yourself. Because most people just go straight into the timed Mythic Plus content. So for me, players like myself basically don't do dungeons. And I you know, it's been a long time since I've actually bothered to play the dungeons all that much. I don't strictly enjoy smashing my face against the keyboard repeatedly doing a dungeon. I actually would much prefer the Mythic Zero concept of that it's harder, but you only do it once a week. That I can more than comfortably live with. But I would want it to be more of a challenge and in turn reward better. So hopefully this new system will actually appeal to players like myself an awful lot more. I'm actually half excited about the change. I do not do Mythic Plus on principle because of the artificial and arcadey nature of it, but I do like doing dungeons. Yeah, I think there's plenty of players in that same boat that they enjoy the concept of dungeons, right? It's world content is so trivial so quickly nowadays that get a few mates together, go kill some, you know, thematically, it's the stepping stone into raiding, right? This is what I've always argued. This is why I've always argued against Mythic Plus in many cases, that Mythic Plus doesn't seem to make sense in the natural progression of what the game was designed for, right? Dungeons were meant to be the small group content that is that stepping stone into maybe raiding, right? You do your dungeons with a small group of people, a few times a week, but then once a week, twice a week, you'd all group together and you'd try and kill the really big boss, you know, in the raid. That's kind of the concept of how I think the progression should always have been. And Mythic Plus sort of messed it all up a little bit. Trying to be its own thing in its entirety before felt a bit odd. You can still do the zug, you can still do the affixes, you can still do the maximum difficulty stuff if you want, but it's being squished towards like the top end. If you really want to do it and you really want to push, then you feel free, but it should allow most everybody else that doesn't particularly enjoy that aspect of it to feel like dungeon progression matters again, which I think is quite nice. I'd say that Mythic Plus is kind of dying for the majority of players. There are very few groups who push it all week long. God knows why, by the way. Most players just do a couple for the vault and will be done with it for the week. I mean, that's been a concept for a long time, right? People would, for a long time, They do their 15s to get their vault, and then that's, you know, they're done. GG. Like that would literally be it. They don't strictly enjoy it, but because the vault is so lucrative, they'll do like 1 or 2. It's a nice change. Only thing I'm a bit concerned about is the jump from new heroic to mythic 0. That might be rough for many people since there are no M2s to M9s anymore. Well, I hope, because with no timers and no affixes, that it's as simple as, you know, boss mechanics will just be turned up to 11. Mythic Zeros, I hope, will just be that you have to execute the fight well. Now, you could argue that's exactly the same with Mythic Plus now, but, you know, you'll have at least seen the boss. You'll have at least have an idea of what the mechanics are of said boss by doing your normals and your heroics, if there is actually some reason for progression. Because you can queue up with people all day long and quote-unquote practice with your heroics. Then, you know, you can get your group together once you know what you're doing, and you can hopefully smash through your M0s. Is the theory, I would guess. I guess they're just going to turn the mechanics up to 11, right? If you get hit by this thing, you die. But it's not the end of the world, because you can res up, there's no timer, you can, oh, okay, shit, this thing kills me this time. Maybe I need to pop a defensive, or just ignore it, move out the way completely, you know? Generally speaking, though, I think this is a wonderful update. It gives dungeons value to players who have been kind of missing it for a long time, I think, and still gives people who enjoy the Mythic Plus aspect the zug grindy affix craziness, right? If you still want that, you can go get it. It's not taking that away from anybody. It's just building in, hopefully, some more progression for average Joe. I had no idea there were people that didn't want to do Mythic Plus. Nobody. It's Mythic Plus is weird, right? It's always felt weird. People often only, you know, it started off by people doing it because it was new and it was shiny. Then it ended up being that some people would do the bare minimum to like get some rewards out. Then it became its own pillar of play and its own end game system in its fullest. It's just a bit odd. I like it. I think they need to remove heroic. Do we think that having so many different difficulties is still problematic, or? I think if they pace it right, normals are just leveling dungeons, right? You just you just smash face, things die. You've also got to remember that normals have got the follower dungeons, right? So you don't even need other players. You can insta-queue for these regardless. There's zero stress. If nothing else, this is your tourist mode. This is what I've always thought LFR should be, really. Your tourist mode. You just want to see the place. You want to work out, right, well, this boss is here, this boss is there. See who they are, what they do. See the environment. You get your level ups done. You hit max level by doing some normal dungeons. Then once you are max level, heroics is that, you know, it teaches you a bit about the mechanics of each boss. And then by M0 level, you need to actually execute that to kill the boss, in theory. Now, of course, if somebody strolls in with like Mythic 10 gear, it's probably still going to be relatively face roll, but at least it will be scaled a bit better, hopefully. 2 difficulties is enough, same for the raids. Maybe a tourist mode as the 3rd. If they just kind of, you know... yeah, maybe. LFR and normal should just be 1. Oh, for raiding, yeah, I agree. Definitely. Almost no one pushes in randoms. Most of my guildie pushes around 3400 mythic rating, and none of them push in randoms, so people still put, but not with randoms anymore. Yeah, there's a huge disparity in the Mythic Plus community anyway, right? There's people that do the 15s because Vault, right? Vault's a thing, right? They do their 15, they get the vault or portals or whatever the hell it is you're going for. They'll do the absolute bare minimum to get the reward. There'll always be players that will do the bare minimum to get the most out of it. You know, minimum effort, maximum reward. There's lots of players like that, and will utilize Mythic Plus for that. That said, there is also the people that just want to push. And if you are pushing, yeah, you're right. You're not doing it with randoms. You've got 4 mates that will do it with you. 18 is the vaulting. Numbers are irrespective. Don't matter. But you get the points the same. But so I tend to think that this brings dungeons onto the table for an awful lot of players who probably have had very little desire to do Mythic Plus for many years. I'm glad that they've sort of seen this, right? They probably see how many people play the game and how many people run Mythic Plus and are like, well, hang on, these numbers, can we smooth this out a little bit? And I think this will work quite nicely. So Season 4 changes will apply to all 8 of the Dragonflight dungeons. As part of these adjustments, they have a few goals in mind. Recalibrating the core difficulties to align with seasonal players' experience and progression. Serve the community who enjoys dungeon content but feels that Mythic Plus content isn't for them due to the pressures of taking part. There's no need for this. But because it's not the pressure aspect of Mythic Plus content that turns me off from it. The pressure's not the problem at all. It's the fact that people, unless you make your own groups and can live by your own rules, people are super strict on bringing people into their dungeons. A single wipe can disband a group and instantly nuke a key because people are so concerned about timing it. All right. It encourage the affixes and the timer encourage a lot of toxicity in it, and the fact that there hasn't been an alternative. Your alternative to that is like queuing for heroics now. You know, the disparity was too big. Create a better environment in Mythic Dungeons to prepare more players to take part in Mythic Plus. This I think is a good thing, right? This is probably the best aspect of it. You level up with normals. You can do normals with AI if you want. Once you reach max level, you can progress into heroics. Heroics will be a step up in challenge, even if only temporarily. You'll have to group up with real people this time, but you can just queue for it automatically. And then, of course, once you get into Mythic, you kind of need to know what the bosses are doing, otherwise they'll one-shot you. Is kind of the concept that it seems to look like. One of the most notable changes players can look forward to is the removal of the timer for Mythic Keystone dungeons for what are currently equivalent of 0 up to 10. Players can run through these dungeons at their own pace without the need to watch the clock while still owning in their skills. So normal, unchanged. They're keeping normal exactly as it is. Heroic, the tuning and the rewards of this difficulty are going to be increased to be the equivalent of what Mythic 0 is now. So they're going to be that is going to create more disparity between the two, right? If you go run a heroic dungeon now and then you run a normal dungeon straight after, you can't really tell the difference. But if you were to do a normal now and then step into Mythic 0, there is a noticeable difference between how much damage the boss will do, the mechanics that are used, and this sort of stuff. Mythic difficulty changes and mechanics will not be present in this difficulty. Remains a queuable experience. So heroics is like, it's your stepping stone into Mythic, right? Which I can equally see is maybe where the argument lies that, well, still heroic doesn't really have much of a place because people will just surpass it quite quickly. But no lockout, repeatable, queuable You know, these are factors that gives heroic its kind of place, I guess. Mythic, the tuning and rewards of the difficulty are going to be increased to the equivalent of a +10 dungeon today. There are going to be no timers, affixes, or limitations on changing spec or talents while in the dungeon. So you can sort of, progress through them at a slower pace if you want to. The goal is to create mega dungeon-like difficulty with this experience. The difficulty should present a meaningful challenge and provide rewards without the pressures of the current Mythic Plus system. And Mythic Zeros will still be on a weekly lockout under this model. Cool. Get to do it once a week. Get a couple of mates. Maybe steal a few viewers off stream, whatever the case is. And do something a touch more challenging once a week. Get it done, sort of thing. And then you've got the Mythic Plus, which will be the top end stuff. Squishing Mythic Plus practically to just the top pushers. +2 will be the equivalent of what a +11 is today. A +5 should be as hard as a +15 today, and in turn a +10 should then be as hard as a +20 today. Affixes will slot in at +2, +5 and +10. Dungeon ratings should be equivalent to what they represent with the current system, so that's not going to change all that much. There should be a smaller range of keystone levels in which to find groups for, and more meaningful progression between each level. So when you go from a 2 to a 4 to a 6 to an 8, you should notice, things hit harder. You should notice them. And in turn, they've laid out what the reward path might look like on this. With how it looks now, a player like myself who doesn't really enjoy the Zug craziness of Mythic Plus, my limitations pretty much is held with heroic dungeons. Today I probably wouldn't do much more than heroic dungeons, which puts me at an adventurer 1 level or 428 gear, which in turn makes these kind of mostly pointless, considering I can get much better than that by just doing some world quests. So the reality is dungeons for me basically don't exist. Because you either do Mythic Plus dungeons or you don't do dungeons in the current scheme as it stands now. In Season 4, though, whereas this is roughly where I would stop today, even heroic dungeons are going to provide a significant step up in gear. The equivalent of 437 gear today is where you would start doing your heroic dungeons at, which are queuable, let's not forget. So queuable dungeons will provide a higher level of gear than they would do normally. Plus, obviously, then once a week you can go do your Mythic Zeros, which should be more attractive. It should be significantly easier to find gear groups and stuff for. If you look in the group finder now, see how many sort of Mythic 10 groups are knocking about. It shouldn't be too difficult to start putting a Mythic 0 groups together, which in turn would give, today's equivalent of 254 gear, champion gear, for doing your Mythic Zeros. And of course, then that would trigger the vault of like 467 gear. So sort of heroic level gearing. Now, of course, if you do want to do the Mythic Zug, you still can. The 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, all the way up to Mythic Plus 10s will still be the equivalent of like 19s, 20s today. And will work in the same way that your vault reward will then be the way that you get the best gear. So I don't think people who are semi-active in Mythic Plus today are really going to notice much of a difference, honestly. They will still have the same, because most people who are consistent with Mythic Plus are probably doing 10s to 15s at the very least. I think most people who are doing Mythic Plus, the only difference current Mythic Plus players are really going to notice is that the number is smaller, right? Instead of doing 18s, 19s, 20s today, they're all of a sudden going to be doing like 8s or 9s or something instead, you know? The number's going to be smaller, but realistically nothing particularly changes for them, which I think is good. It just gives more flexibility for people to progress through dungeons without the timer or the affixes. So I think it's good. I think it's good. Now, what they haven't said is anything about professions yet, how crafted gear is going to tie into this, but I'm sure that sort of information will come soon, soon-ish at least. Didn't make any sense between a 12 and a 16 key. I know there's some banding issues that, like, there are some sort of like dead zones in Mythic Plus at the moment, but this is more to do with sort of gamer doing gamer things and like vault rewards and stuff, to my understanding. I don't fully understand it because it's not an avenue of play I go for, but I think it's good. It doesn't really dramatically affect current Mythic Plus players in any real sense, but it does open up dungeons a bit more to the players who historically have enjoyed dungeons but don't want the arcadey nature of Mythic Plus. So yeah, I'm all for this. This sounds pretty good. They have given some info here about crests and flight stones. Flight stones earning for any Mythic Plus will match the equally challenging Mythic Plus from the previous seasons. This means a Mythic Plus 2 in Season 4 will give the same amount of flight stones as a 12 does today. The rewards will continue to match difficulty, even if what we're calling those difficulty changes. Yeah, they're just trying to emphasize here that the number's going to go down, but your rewards aren't going down as well. Your rewards will be relative to what they are today. Bonus Flightstone awards for increasing any party member's Mythic Plus scores will remain unchanged. Whelpling crests will no longer be available for Mythic Plus dungeons, as those difficulties do not exist anymore. Players will continue to collect Whelpling crests from many outdoor sources. This is, I wonder how that will actually impact. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about that one more. Players will earn 10 Drake's Crest on successful completion of a Mythic 0, as there's no timer to beat. So that will be your... Yeah, you get your Whelplings from doing your world content. Your Drakes turn up by doing your Mythic Zeros each week. And there's 8 dungeons, so that's 80 Drake's Crests per week for doing your Mythic Zeros, assuming you do each and every one. Your Worms Crests will then come from Mythic Plus 2s to 5s in the same quantities as in Mythic Plus dungeons today. And then the aspects will be available in anything from 6 up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, in the same quantities. So actually, the TLDR to this is practically nothing changes. We believe these changes provide new opportunities for players to experience Mythic and Mythic Plus dungeons whilst providing additional challenges for endgame players in the future. We look forward to feedback, blah, blah, blah. And there is significantly more feedback than I'm going to try and digest. But my take on this is good. It is not adversely affecting the current Mythic Plus community or the people that enjoy the system as it stands now. It's not going to change their gameplay loop in any way, shape or form, but it does open the door for people that kind of have enjoyed a dungeon experience and would have enjoyed a slightly more challenging dungeon experience without having to adventure into the crazy world that can be Mythic Plus. Which I think is good. Best of both worlds. Who can argue against the best of both worlds? I think it's pretty clever. It's pretty clever. Time to do the Mythic Dungeon achievements before Season 4. This will be 10 times harder when it launches. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It's interesting to note that the item levels are also significantly going up for Season 4 as well. So we are going to be, you know, we're going to be easily pushing 500 plus item level in most cases. Your vault is going to be spitting out 500 plus gear for many players. 39 item level jump again. We're going to need an item level squish again. Like this, we're going to need an item level squish again. We're going to have item level 1,000 plus gear in the next expansion if they're not careful. What's the item level jump been so far in Dragonflight? What did we start at? What's this character got on? 424 gear. He's already got higher gear than normal. Don't you ding 70? I want to say like 330, something along those lines. 330, I think, was what you'd average dinging level 70 at. If you've got a freshly dinged level 70, 330 is about where it's at. We're going to have 319s as heirloom gear. Oh, well, there we go then. That's probably a good benchmark to use. 319s at heirloom gear. And we are going to end the expansion with a 200 item level jump in total. Because it wouldn't be out of the range of people to be 419 geared by the end of the expansion. 519 geared by the end of the expansion. 200 item level jump in an expansion. That means we could have item level 700 plus gear by the end of the next expansion. Yeah, we're gonna need another item level squish. Flipping hell. Gonna need another squish. These item level jumps though are this is one of the things that I think they need to kind of reconsider a little bit. And this is where having so many difficulties is problematic. Because when you have 4 difficulties, there needs to be meaningful difference between those 4. And it creates these huge, great big item level jumps. Because you could be 483 geared right now. You could be 483 geared and heroic dungeons are practically going to... Tomorrow's heroic dungeons are going to be mythic geared players today. So for the most part, any gear that your character has right now is practically going to be nullified the very second the patch goes live. There's no such thing as, oh, well, if I'm, geared to the teeth today, that will carry me for some distance in the next patch. No, every patch now is practically a full reset with these item level jumps. Which in a way takes away, in my opinion at least, it takes away people's drive to push for that higher item levels in whatever patch it is. It makes the expansions feel like a lot more chopped up, way more seasonal than I think it ever used to be. If you were mythic raid geared previously, that could carry you for most of the next patch as well. You would only be replacing that gear with like next patch like mythic gear in most cases. You wouldn't be taking your mythic raid gear straight into a heroic dungeon and getting an upgrade just, one patch after. That's actually madness. And I wonder maybe if this is partly would be one of the justifications for trimming a difficulty mode from this. Because if you've got a significant item level jump between each difficulty and you've got 4 difficulties, well, you can keep that item level jump less if you were to shave off a difficulty, I suppose. Legion ended up with item level 1000 Lego trinkets. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're going to be there again soon, it feels. We're going to be there again soon. Right, I'm going to take a quick break for 2 minutes, boys and girls. Quick bathroom break, and then we'll probably go smash face again at Ashes and see if we can try our luck. And if this thing turns up, shout very loud. I'll be back in 2. Alrighty. Right, ashes. Come at me. Where did we get to? I've technically killed it twice today, or attempted it twice today, haven't I? Properties. Failed attempts. 2. Ashes, Jack. Ashes. Pronunciation is critical. Right. Now we are going to have to haul ass all the way back over there again because of my mistake of logging out inside the dungeon, raid even. What? Hello? Wait, who? What? Oh, I know why we're here. Can't wait for asses of creation. Nothing gets created in the ass. However much some people might try. Whoa, frames. Please, game. Are we good? Frames, there we go. There we go. Hang on, my game's doing weird things again. And my camera's having a heart attack again. Can this not be a thing, please, game? Why, when my game goes crazy, does my camera also go crazy? And now my camera's froze. Flipping hell. There is no way my computer should have any problems whatsoever running 2 instances of World of Warcraft. Not possible. RIP 8 gig of RAM. Dedicated GPU memory, 8 gig capped. Flipping hell. That shouldn't be possible. Okay, the camera seems to be better again now. I've watched many different streamers, YouTubers, from casual to race to world first, cover this new dungeon system. I have to say yours is one of the best reasoned. I think the new system is good for a larger part of the player base, but I only see one issue. Firstly, thanks for the compliment, I suppose. I'm intrigued to see what this issue is, though. Is this turned... No, what am I doing? Settings, game settings, graphics. Why is it on flipping 1 again? Oh no, this dude does want to be on 1. Oh, my flipping hell. It's this dude that's... Okay, we're good. Downstairs. Don't leave us hanging. Type faster. I got 2 WoW shortcuts, one with default config and the other one with config min.wtf with lower than the lowest settings. Yeah, I had that once upon a time, but I still use Battle.net Launcher. If I was to use desktop shortcuts, I could use separate config files. But it seems to not be the case. It seems to be more problematic that my GPU's only got 8 gig of RAM, which is just apparently not enough nowadays. Which is a shame. When does a more casual player know when they're ready to step up from Heroic to Mythic 0 and from Mythic 0 to +2s? And how do party leaders know who to invite? Because now there is no longer a rating associated with your gameplay 1 through 10. Well, my suspicion is that Mythic Zeros won't necessarily be that much different from Heroics, right? So the thought process here is that people will practice the dungeons and figure out what the hell they're doing in the dungeons in Heroics, and then they'll put groups together for Mythic Zeros, and then the Mythic Plus crew will just do their own thing. Like, I think there's actually going to be quite a distinction between the 2 types of players. Now, it does mean that Mythic +2, +4, +6 are going to... This may make it more difficult to get into what we consider traditional Mythic Plus content. But in a way, I think that's probably fine, because there's a lot of people that get into Mythic Plus content today because they have no other choice but to. If you want to do anything better than a Heroic dungeon today, you have no choice but to engage with Mythic Plus content, because Mythic 0 is practically pointless. So that stepping stone of Mythic 0 is just basically dead. You can't put a group together for Mythic Zeros today. realistically. Not unless you are forming the group yourself. And what you will often find is, weirdness with people. You'll get freshly dinged level 70s that are new to the game within 3 minutes kind of thing. I think what this is doing more so than anything is actually bringing Mythic 0 into the equation, whereas it isn't a thing at all today. It's a thing for 1 week. Mythic 0 is a thing for 1 week right now. You go, the expansion launches, you ding max level, you do your Mythic 0 sweep, and then Mythic Plus comes out next week and you never do it again. So it's probably more of a thing that, it will almost divide the 2 game modes to a degree. I think you'll have, people do normal when they level up. They ding level 70. They'll do some heroic dungeons because they can queue for them. They can do them as many times as they like. There will hopefully be a noticeable difference between normal dungeons and mythic dungeons. Heroic dungeons because of this. And then once you are kind of capped out with heroics or your friends come online, then you can go and do the Mythic Zeros and you will only be able to do them once a week and it will give you that challenge. The way that they've tried to explain it, I think, is quite good. They're trying to create that mega dungeon vibe. It's difficult for Blizzard to release mega dungeon content frequently. So if they can reuse the original dungeons that they make in a mega dungeon-esque environment that people can do once a week, and it can act as a seemingly progression system, and then if you want more, you have Mythic Plus. The reality, I think, is nowadays is that a lot of people don't want more. They don't want the weird eccentricities of Mythic Plus, like the timers, like the affixes. They want to just run a dungeon at their own pace with friends, with some challenge. Challenge of mechanics rather than, challenge of we must go faster. And it's kind of quite nice that they've at least acknowledged that those players exist. Because I think there's more of them than you realise. And like I said, I think a lot of people who are doing current Mythic Plus 2s to 10s are not doing Mythic Plus 2s to 10s because they strictly want to, but because they know they kind of have to be able to do the higher stuff. And there's no other choice, right? If you want to do anything better than a heroic dungeon, which is zero skill, zero effort today, your only choice is to try and engage in the Mythic Plus system. And for players like me, it's basically meant that dungeon content hasn't existed for a couple of expansions now. So it's nice to see it in a way coming back. From my perspective as a sweaty Mythic Pluser, my favourite part of the new system is that I can hang out at below +9s without having to worry about third tier of affixes, being able to gear up with less stress, fewer mechanics. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't think these changes will have any impact whatsoever to traditional sweaty Mythic Pluses today, right? If you enjoy pushing Mythic Plus today, nothing changes for you. Absolutely nothing will change. The only subtle change will be is that the number of the dungeon changes, right? Instead of you doing +19s, +20s, +22s, whatever the hell you're doing, you'll be doing +8s, 10s, and so on. But your rewards will be the same. The structure, the mechanics, the timers, they'll all be the same. I don't think this affects the current Mythic Plus player base at all. It's about as elegant as they could have done it, honestly. Because one of the difficulties with change is that it affects everybody more often than not. And at least this way, if you want that affix zoom mode, it's an unlimited difficulty scaling, that is still there for you, and it has not changed in any way, shape, or form for you. But if you still want to, if you want to go and do dungeons. Dungeons has been a thing in World of Warcraft forever. And it's only since Mythic Plus has turned up where a lot of players have been put off doing any dungeons because there's either zero effort, zero challenge, or the sweatiness of Mythic Plus. And I know from personal experience that I don't really enjoy Mythic Plus because I don't want to deal with all of the toxicity that comes from people rage quitting after one person dies, having to go faster all the time. For me, going and doing a dungeon is a casual, chill thing just as much as doing world quests or just as much as playing professions. That doesn't mean chill needs to mean zero difficulty, though. Understanding what the boss does and that if he hits you with his big hammer, you're going to die is appropriate levels of fun. Whereas heroic doesn't do that. It's almost impossible to die in heroics. So I think it's a good change overall. Welcome in, Bear. Yes, I am still plugging away. I am going to get ashes. I'm making it my my goal in life. Great change for people who don't like Mythic Plus. I just worry it won't be a great ramp to Mythic Plus for those who might get intrigued as they get more comfortable. You should, in theory, though, still hopefully find that you will have, lower level Mythic Plus keys to join groups with, right? Having 2s, 4s, 6s, 8s, 10s, you'll probably find it significantly more easy to step into a +2 or even a +4 if you have that intrigue. And the theory hopefully is that you will have at least spent some time doing Mythic Zeros to mostly understand what's going on first. Now, you'll always have those players that will ding level 70 with green gear and, try and sign up to groups. But this is the thing for me, right? The sweaty elitist nature, toxicity, if you want all of that, if that's your jam, you can still have it. It's just more squished towards the top end now. The toxicity and the sweatiness of Mythic Plus has, for the longest of time, stretched across the entire dungeon progression system. Even people get elitist about you trying to join a +2 or +6 today, right? They're requesting mad item level requirements. They want to see logs. They want to see, all of this sort of stuff. It's a massive turn off for a lot of players to even bother. My opinion, in general, I've been hearing streamers that do Mythic Plus complain about these changes, that there's nothing for them, etc. But let's be real, 90 to 92% of the player base has less than 4 hours max a day to play the games. It's more like 60%. This provides everybody rather than people who play 6 to 8 hours a day. Well, this isn't a change for them. People need to understand that not every change in the game is for them. This is kind of my point here, right? That if you are already in Team Sweat for Mythic Plus and you're pushing, this change wasn't for you. This change was never, this is a change to make dungeons more accessible for players who are not you. And nothing will change for them. And actually, more than anything, they should be thankful that nothing has changed for them. Because as I mentioned, often one of the problems with change in these sorts of scenarios is it does tend to often affect everybody. But this is quite an elegant solution. Because your current Mythic Plus enjoyers, nothing has changed. They can go about doing what they do. And they can have the best gear, and they can, optimize their strategies, and they can push as much as they like. Yeah, you do you, Jack. Don't you do you. It's all good. I agree it's not for them. The sad part is that most people get into a stream, hear about the complaint and get negative feeling in general. Glad you got my point. Yeah, I mean this is it's that's the power of social influences, right? It's a grim word, but if somebody has negative feelings about something, if people can't rationalize for themselves, that's their own problem though. Most important question is, where do we get the portals? If it stays at 20, that would be the equivalent of a 30 today. I mean, little bits and pieces like portals and, Keystone Master and stuff like that will all get figured out. This is just the first overview. And like I said, for the most part, I don't think people who are traditional Mythic Plus enjoyers need to worry, because the way that they've structured it sounds like, for them, nothing is changing. The game is staying exactly the same way for those people. It's just opening the door to players to be able to run dungeons in a more casual fashion while still feeling it's worthwhile doing. If 10s are going to give the same rewards as 20s, then I'd assume that 10s would probably give portals. It's logical. It's logical, makes sense. I will say I don't like the Mythic Plus competition. Find it very boring unless they do something unique. The MDI is an interesting one, because the MDI is from an outside. They've done better with this more recently. But if you are not in the Mythic Plus scene, it's remarkably difficult to watch the MDI and have any idea what's going on. Very, very difficult to understand what's going on. This is why I strongly believe not everything needs to be an esport. It's if you do not know the dungeons, you do not know the bosses, you do not know the path they're taking, if you do not know every single class inside and out like the back of your hand, it can be remarkably difficult to watch the MDI and have any idea what's going on. Whereas the Race to World First obviously attracts more of an audience, because the concept of that is more straightforward, right? Who kills the boss first? Oh, okay. This team killed the boss first. Right. Get it. Right? And actually, a lot of people, I would imagine... Has this ominous portal just spawned? Oh my god, it will have done. I would imagine with the Race to World First, people actually watch the Race to World First and learn a lot about the bosses before they then eventually will, with their guild, go and do it themselves. I don't think the MDI has the same effect. The every multiplayer game needs to be an esport thing is a cancer to gaming. For me, it's one of the reasons why I don't strictly like Mythic Plus as a concept. Because I think that Mythic Plus encourages development of dungeons which are exactly the same. It's significantly more difficult to be creative in a dungeon when you know that that dungeon has to work in a competitive arena, right? And I think it probably stifles the creativity and what they could do with dungeons. And it homogenizes a lot of the feel of them, because they have to all somewhat be equally balanced in somewhat shape or form. They must all have, they must be able to be tuned somewhat equally. Which is why I think it was good that they started to switch up the Mythic Plus pool. Not necessarily always having every dungeon that they make being a Mythic Plusable dungeon. But of course, you know, Blizzard does Blizzard things. Which is maybe some of the reason why I'm a little bit more excited about this change, because it means hopefully that they can do more creative things with the dungeons. If they're squishing the difficulty up to the top end anyway, then maybe by that point they can make some subtle changes to the dungeons anyway. I don't know. Right. 2 minutes. 2 minutes and we can kill this dude again. We need some Hearthstone cards, please, game. The only thing I don't really understand about the changes announced is something like this. Pardon the explanation. There are many different item levels listed in the chart, but there's only 2 quote-unquote levels of content in Heroic and Mythic Plus. So how do all of those levels listed under Heroic and Mythic map to what you're doing? E.g. 476 to 493. Well, you got to remember in Heroics and Mythic Zeros, the bosses drop loot. The bosses will just drop those item levels of loot. So where you have these, normal dungeons will drop 460 loot. Simple. Bosses will drop 460 loot. Heroic dungeons, they'll drop 476 loot. Done. Your Mythic Zeros will drop 493 loot. Done. There will not be this banding of item level because there's no real necessity for it. What you'll also see is this other column, which it shows you what you'll get in the vault. So your Heroic dungeon clears will qualify you for 489 vault loot. Your Mythic Zero clears will qualify you for 506 vault loot. Which will be, if you clear your Mythic Zeros in your vault, you have the chance of the equivalent of Mythic 7 to 8 gear. The bandings only matter for this section, really. Right, 3 seconds. Time to pump. Give me some cards, Blizzard. Give me some cards. Make sure you have 10 wild cards in your bags. If you're after the cards. If you have wild cards, you don't get waste ones. I've tagged anyway. Give me some cards.
Can I help you? Off and away.
That's a pro level tip, that is. That's a pro level tip. Keep 10 of these in your... Keep the wild card. Yeah, because they're unique 10. Smart. Smart. Yeah, the item level banding for gear isn't going to matter unless you're actually doing the Mythic Plus particular content. Stolen Hearthstone card. That'll do. We'll take that. We'll take that. Ooh, an epic. Ancient of Lore. Nice. Nice. 1 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to go. Dear Lord. What are the wild cards for? These are for when somebody is playing the game on the actual table. You can use the wild cards to play a card on their game. Entirely pointless, honestly. But, hey, you got the bag. Well done, Jack. Nice one. 3rd time I've done the boss, got no loot. There is the same mechanic, I believe, as there is with a lot of these events, where you're first of the day, you get a bonus amount. Every go after that is at a reduced chance, I believe. Or it definitely feels that way. Can you just buy all 10 from the vendor and then you just get the ones for the achievement? By the looks of things, seems to work. I thought they were trying to say you could get anything from 476 to 493, but actually 476 heroic, 493 mythic 0. Yeah, there's not this sort of, you know, broken down way, because the bosses drop loot in those tiers of content, so it'll just be as simple as you do heroics, bosses will drop this item level. You do mythic zeros, bosses will drop this level, you know. Like I said, there's obviously some concern that, well, what is the progression into Mythic Plus? And I don't know if I'm slightly biased on this because I don't particularly enjoy Mythic Plus myself, so bear that in mind. But I think it's mostly the fact that there are some people who do Mythic Plus not because they enjoy Mythic Plus, but because the gear progression kind of dictates that they must do. It's very uncommon nowadays for people to raid without doing some Mythic Plus as well. So if you're in a guild and you enjoy raiding, you kind of feel semi-obliged to have to engage in the Mythic Plus shenanigans because, of course, it offers gear, it offers great vault stuff, you know. Your gear progression is currently heavily tied to Mythic Plus, whether you like it or not. That doesn't necessarily mean that people are proactively choosing to do the early stages of Mythic Plus because they want to, but more because they feel as if they should do. Whereas I think this really helps alleviate that. It means you can go and do dungeons in a more casual fashion. You can still get some what would be reasonable gear up to the equivalent of heroic level gear, I believe, by doing your Mythic 0 dungeons. But if you want that sweat fest, that timer zerg, that unlimited push, that option is still there, and it's not changed, which I think is quite clever. Because it's much faster and easier to gear from Mythic Plus than from raids. Well, this has always been one of my other sort of arguments towards Mythic Plus, is that I feel it undermines raiding quite heavily. Call me old school here, but I tend to think that if you can round up 19 other people to go and kill a substantially more difficult boss, you should be rewarded accordingly to that level of initial difficulty, right? It's been weird for me for a long time that you can put 4 people together and run a dungeon as many times as you want for seemingly the equivalent gear is what you can get by putting 19 people together and killing a massive, great big raid boss. It's never made sense to me. And I think Mythic Plus, some people choose to do Mythic Plus as it is a path of least resistance. You can smash face against your keyboard and eventually you'll get there. Whereas with a raid boss, you get one chance to kill it a week and then you've got the lockout and stuff. I've always thought that Mythic Plus should be the stepping stone into raiding, not an alternative to. Me's grind with a 16. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Welcome in. Hope you're well today. Team NA's waking up, boys and girls. Team NA's up. It's that time. Let's hope that sub gives me some ashes loot. Need some streamer luck. used about 17 global cooldowns to kill those then. Right, let's go. Come on, Ashes. Our Numbersill continuing their gifted sub as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I think most people who do mythic raids do so for the achievement. From those who I've heard from, it does not seem that the loot rewards in Mythic Plus is a problem for them. With season 4, I'm going to miss the race to world first. Yeah, I'm not even entirely sure if any of the guilds are going to do anything specific for it. I vaguely remember towards the end of Shadowlands, some of them did a mini race to world first, just kind of on a smaller scale. The way most players and guilds do it is that they do keys to gear up for about a month, then they push to kill the last boss in heroic raid, and they're then pretty much done for the patch. A few consecutive kills on the last boss, and the rest till the next patch. They have no desire to try mythic raids. I think more people would be more persistent with raiding if Mythic Plus not necessarily didn't exist, but if Mythic Plus was significantly diminished in its gearing capability. Like I said, I still feel in any way, shape or form, stepping foot into a raid with way more players should be rewarded way more than stepping into a dungeon with 4 players. Like the synergy needed, like I don't know. Like I've never understood how putting 4 players together is rewarded equally as putting 19 plus players together. I mean, one of the reasons we don't have 40-man raiding anymore is because it's practically impossible to get 39 other people to do the same thing as you at the same time. Because there's the understanding that the more players you put together, the more difficult it is to actually, make that happen. But like I said, that's kind of a different topic. What we need to do now, though, is celebrate the fact that we're going to get Ashes. Next time. Next time we get Ashes, apparently. Stupid game. Next time. One day. I'd say that Mythic plus 10 requires player awareness and skill equivalent to a normal raid, plus 16 to a heroic and plus 23 to Mythic. So there are equivalent challenges between the two, and the reward should... I don't agree. I mean, just by proxy of there being, the physical challenge of getting so many people in the same place at the same time. You have 4 on one hand and you have 19 on the other. I don't see there to be much of a tie between the two, honestly. But this is just, like I said, this is just one man's opinion that is probably not all that valid because I don't get too deep into the end game stuff anyway. So. Another part is that people just don't want to do it. Mythic Plus is a good alternative. This is why I think this change is pretty delicate in how it's been approached, and I think it's quite an elegant solution because it doesn't change for those people who specifically enjoy Mythic Plus and are not doing it because they feel obliged to do it. They're doing it because they actively enjoy doing it. Nothing has changed, and I think that's quite important to highlight, and I think that's quite good that nothing has changed for them. That they've been able to make dungeon progression feel more approachable for a much wider audience, without it actually changing it for the people who actively enjoy it here and now. Because obviously the last thing you want to do is to annoy the people who are actively enjoying the content in the first place, right? That's like 5 failed attempts. I'm really slacking on my ability to update my my realm info here. That should be 5 failed attempts today. The game's against me. I think it's 5. Okay, where are we? Oh, we're back in Valdrakken again. Back in Valdrakken. If I can get some frames, please, game. There we go. Rewards should be rewarded by skill and challenge, not by how social you are. Oh, my camera's flipping died on me again. Every time I log on to a new character for 10, 20 seconds, my camera has a fit. And I go, why am I going into slideshow mode? I think it's every time this account goes AFK, it's causing it. Although... it's thinking about it, and now it's back to normal. No, it's not, is it? Well, now it is. I think my PC's, my graphics cards are right on the limit of having a heart attack or not. I need to figure this out. And by social, I mean how well you can coordinate, wrangle 19 other players together. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm always slightly cautious about this because I'm not trying to, you know, step on anybody's toes unnecessarily. If you enjoy Mythic Plus, no issues whatsoever. I just think the concept of Mythic Plus needs to be carefully balanced. That I don't think that Mythic Plus should be an alternative. I still think the concept of the game, from a fundamental level, should be that you can do shit by yourself, world content for the most part, that's relatively straightforward and anybody can do, or anybody can strive to do. You can then step into small group-based content with a slight increase in difficulty, and then you step into large organised group content. And I think the progression path and the stepping stones of difficulty and equally the rewards should showcase that. Practically awarding 5 however coordinated players in the same way as awarding 20 coordinated players doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And it forces upon a lot of players a gameplay loop that they would prefer not to have to engage with. Either raiders feeling obliged to do Mythic Plus, or even the alternative, even Mythic Plus players feeling obliged to do the raid to a high level as well. Due to the fact that they both scale to a similar level. But that's just my, you know, like I said, this is just my concept on how I think the game from a fundamental level should play out. It's not something that I expect people to actually agree with. What I probably should do, I am in feral spec. We actually need to kill all bosses here, look. We need some leather stuff from in here, so we might as well kill all bosses. Even Allah himself can drop me a pair of gloves by the looks of things. Wherever he is. I assume it's a he. It's 2024, I shouldn't be assuming these things, should I? Allah, my friend, what are your pronouns? Where have they gone? Hello? Pigeon, come back! I've lost him. Boom. Headshot. Go on. Give me the gloves. Give me the gloves. Never lucky. Never lucky. Right, who next? Let's go do Void Reaver next. What do we get off him? Two things, actually. Some shoulders and a belt, by the looks of things. I got two valuable BOEs from in here yesterday. The problem is I can't remember which characters I got them on. And secondly, I didn't send them to my bank character to even sell them. So they might be lost forever because I might not find them again. Unless I specifically go looking for them. I could just look through the VOD and find out who it was, though, I suppose. What did we get there? We got something. Hang on, what did we get there? Oh, we got the belt. We got the belt. No, it's not even a belt. It's a helm. No, it is a belt. I lie. Well, that was worth then. Mosey on over to the other boss. In a weird kind of way, these the reason I am mostly positive about these changes overall for Mythic Plus is that it might actually, for the first time in a long time, incentivize me to go do dungeons. I don't not do dungeons because I don't like dungeons. I don't do dungeons because my only realistic option is to queue for heroic dungeons, which offer me practically nothing. They don't offer a challenge. They don't offer rewards. It's just something to do. And there's plenty other just somethings to do as far as I'm concerned, especially if it's like after you've done it once. I like the fact that hopefully now heroics will A, be slightly more difficult and slightly more challenging, and B, I can still sort of strive to do my Mythic Zeros each week, which will give me something in the vault if I want to slowly gear characters up that's of competitive level. And secondly, should hopefully be slightly more challenging in and of themselves. And I can do it at my own pace, and I don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that comes with timers and affixes. In a way, especially from a content creation perspective, I imagine I'm one of not that many people who actually sit in this boat, though, because, a lot of World of Warcraft streamers, not everybody, I mean, there's some other streamers in here as well, but the majority of World of Warcraft streamers, I think, are likely to be, like arena junkies, high-end Mythic Plus players, and so their opinions on this might be quite different. Why is that not in line of sight? How are you not in line of sight? Game? Hello? We've just had two of those in the last 2 seconds. So yeah, in a way, I was, for the most part, signed off on retail, at least from Dragonflight perspective. I pretty much had considered the expansion mostly done. I was not expecting there to be anything to turn up in Season 4 that would interest me. Yeah. Now, I'm somewhat tempted to go run some dungeons. Way too much trash in my bags here. Herbalism knowledge? Mining knowledge? Prepare yourselves. How many times have we had this over the last few days? Best thing about this is it seems like the War Within will launch with this system as well. Yeah, they did actually state that for 11.0 as well. So this, I mean, unless it obviously falls flat on its face, right? They're not going to copy paste it into the War Within if it ends up being a complete catastrophe. But I fail to see how it could be a complete catastrophe, predominantly because, like I said, the current Mythic Plus crowd is unaffected by this. All it does is open the door to a bunch of people who are not engaging in dungeons right now and gives them the opportunity and the reason to engage in dungeons, which is clever. I'm not necessarily always the first person to praise Blizzard overly with systems and changes that they do, because often I think a lot of them are very underhanded and for reasons they don't wish to disclose, such as engagement or monetization. This time around, this actually seems genuinely good for the overall player base, which is a refreshing change, Blizzard. Well done. Right. Time to loot a fiery chicken. It's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. I imagine Twitter's having a field day with these changes today, though. I've not looked on Twitter today, but I'm sure it's going wild on Twitter today. There was 500 plus comments on the post on Wowhead, so there was no way I was reading through those. Come on, say your thing, say your thing. Still going to be very interesting for my more regular of an audience. Still going to be very interesting to find out how this affects like the goal making scene. One question is clearly what the hell are they going to do with crests, enchanted crests? Are we going to see any improvement or upgrade of those, or is crafted gear just going to be, DOA? This is another one where it could go two ways, because whilst as I sort of mentioned earlier, when you go from one season to another, you can practically ignore everything from the prior season, but that doesn't take away the fact that crafted gear is pretty goddamn cheap, let's be real, and still could, for many players who are now going to venture into dungeons and gearing to a level that they may previously have not done, maybe all of a sudden some occasional pieces of crafted gear will start to look attractive and could revitalize crafting, even if they don't up the crest levels. For those of you that are willing to do your crafting orders or have made a name for yourself on your realms. And in turn, of course, obviously, anybody farming materials or doing the likes could potentially see some value from that as well. 500 anonymous positive comments. Oh, unanimous, sorry, I read that completely wrong. Right. Ashes. Clear bag space out to make sure that there's definitely room for it to go in my bags. Don't want no silly shenanigans going on here. Get in my bags. Go. God damn you, game. We go again. We go again. I fully expect Taliesin and Evertel to have us, so everybody touch the forums with unanimous and glowing praise. Yeah, nah, it's a shit show, of course. I don't watch much of their content, you know. Taliesin and Evertel are... I don't have anything negative to say about them. They just don't do it for me. I've not ever fully enjoyed their content, to be honest. Good production quality. Definitely can't deny solid production quality. But it's a clash of personality for me, I think, more than anything else. No particular reason. Dare I say I'd rather watch a Bellula video. Doesn't Zygot auto sell your junk for you? Yeah, if I go to if I go to a vendor, this is the problem. I spend too much time not going to a vendor. A bit too much lore, no. I mean, I don't care for much lore in the first place. Dare I say it, there's not that many World of Warcraft content creators that I actually watch all that frequently, you know. Which is, you know, odd for somebody that does it themselves. I'm not going to start doing inventory management on these characters. That's crazy talk. Log out. That's one more on the failed attempt scale. I think that's failed attempt number 6 today. Sad panda face. One, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, that's only fail number 5. Ah, that's only fail number 5. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, that means I haven't killed it anywhere near as many times as we should do. Rookie numbers. Rookie numbers. Not a fan particularly of them either, or Bellula after his shift to the world is ending. Bellula just plays the game, right? This is the only thing with Bellula. I've got nothing. Like I said, I'm very open-minded about this. I don't particularly have any negativity towards anybody, like in much regard. But like, Bellula just plays the game. You know, his thumbnails play the game. His style of content plays the game. He plays the YouTube game. And all fair play to him, honestly. You can't argue the hustle. You absolutely can't argue the hustle. That said, that doesn't necessarily mean I need to A, agree with everything he says, or B, even watch it or enjoy it. This is what I think should be the way more people look at the internet. You should watch it, much like how you should go about dealing with, you know, the news IRL, in my opinion, right? Don't absorb all of your news and all of your information from just one source. Find out what multiple different people's opinions are on a topic and then draw your own conclusion. For people who are more focused on, you know, news-esque level of content, you don't necessarily need to fully gel with them as a content creator, if that makes sense. This is why I can still watch Bellula content. As no doubt, quite often what he does have to say is informative enough, and it's, you know, I value his opinion as a long-time World of Warcraft player. Doesn't necessarily mean I watch his videos totally from an entertainment perspective. My flipping camera's gone into slideshow mode again. I need to figure this out. It's because my GPU is capping itself on its memory usage, and then for some reason, because I have my green screen is done is by software, not this is basically what it is, right? NVIDIA Broadcast is doing its thing, but this shouldn't utilize anywhere near enough of my graphics card's performance to strangle anything else. But apparently it does from time to time. Time to get a real green screen. Well, the issue is that even if I get a real green screen, then OBS is doing it. And OBS doing it will probably use more system resources than NVIDIA doing it at a GPU level. So yeah, there's no win scenario on that. Although I've got so much overhead on my CPU, OBS could be working 5 times as hard and I probably wouldn't notice. Ask what Mr. GM is doing with his settings. He has the background blurred. Yeah, the only reason I'm... What? Dead? Fatigue? Well, that wasn't a shortcut, was it? My next question is, how the flippin' hell do I get back to my corpse? I'm assuming I don't. Oh, it's there. Oh, heavens above. Oh, we spirit res this shit. Only lasts for a minute nowadays. Okay, that's not happened to me before. Let's not repeat that again. The problem is I don't know what I did. I genuinely don't know what I did. I'm assuming I flew over the fatigue patch here, but I didn't notice a fatigue bar. What, 1 minute only res sickness? Yeah, that got changed a while ago. Res sickness is only 1 minute now, but you take, I think, 60% damage. It's a goal and sink approach. You take significantly more durability damage, like 60% or something ridiculous, but you only have 1 minute res sickness. So, costing me gold, not, wasting my time. We need a soundbar for the channel points. Yeah, there's lots of things I should do with the channel points. I was using the cam filters again recently, but... So indestructible gear is Biss? Oh, definitely, yeah. Without question. This song really annoys me. Sorry for anybody on Twitch listening to my weird background music. Do we need plate gear? High Astromancer. Which one's he? To the right. To the right. I should have checked my inventory before I came in here as well, shouldn't I really? But, oops. I've used sound alerts before. I just switched off because I wanted to... for me, the issue with sound alerts is a lot of the sound alerts are copyright, which means I need to carefully configure them, so unfortunately Team YouTube wouldn't hear them. I just haven't got around to doing it. YouTube is way more restrictive nowadays. I appreciate the viewership all the same. It's just I have to be a touch more careful with what broadcasts live to YouTube. Equally, a bit of a life hack. If you don't want ads and you don't want any background music, watch on YouTube. Because you shouldn't get either. It does also mean you won't get the chat, unfortunately, but... Good luck on Ashes, this is the one. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Paladins are always lucky, right? I do need to take a small detour to this boss first, so... Because otherwise I'll forget. No reason not to try and collect the rest of the Mog from here if we're running the raid 50 million times by the looks of things. The worst thing, more than anything, the worst thing is if we actually get Ashes before we get the rest of the Mog. Then I'll feel really double sick for coming back here later in the day. Right, what do we need? The boots. Never lucky. Right. Let's go. Kelther's ass. Let's get him. Let's get him. Let's get him gone. Squish him. The alternative solution to all of my computer problems is I find myself a sugar daddy to buy me a 4090. And then all my problems go away. It has to be a sugar daddy though. Can't be a sugar mummy. The wife would get a bit jealous. I'd suck a fat one for 4090. Unless she also gets a 4090. She's Team Mac, unfortunately. She lives in Team Apple world. Pro XDR display. I think we'd both take one of them. Then you'd probably need a new PS. Well, yeah, I probably would. If somebody donated a 4090, I'm sure I'd put my hand in my own pocket for a new power supply. I'm sure I can stretch. I can stretch that far. My fans don't even spin on my 4090 for WoW. Yeah, probably not. I say this like my graphics card is trash. I still have a 3070 in this machine, so it should be more than capable of handling what I do, but weirdly nowadays it's the 8 gig of VRAM that's more of a problem than anything else. And I kind of decided that I already own 2 3 series graphics cards. There's a 3060 in my other PC and a 3070 in my main PC. I was like, I'm not buying 40 series graphics cards to replace them. The jump just isn't big enough. $40.90 excluded from that, obviously. Pro XDR display where the stand costs you more than most regular displays. Oh, it's beautiful though, isn't it? This is the Apple curse. This is the Apple curse. Why do they have to make shit that looks so good? It's like the new Vision Pro. It looks incredible. But 3,500, are you mad? I mean, sure, it's probably expensive to build and it probably cost a hell of a lot to develop and manufacture and all of the above, but Lord have mercy. The flipping glass on the front isn't even like scratch resistant or anything. Seems odd that it's both so expensive yet seems to have some real fundamental flaws with it at the same time. Have you updated your camera's drivers recently? I still think GPU usage would be better on OBS than Nvidia's crappy software. I actually use a Canon EOS M50, which unfortunately has to also run through its own software first before it goes anywhere. So there's more overhead than is necessary. I could go the route of HDMI, capture card, business, all of this for the camera, but it's too much like hard work for super marginal gain. This is why the cam filters are not on at the moment, because the cam filter, right? For those silly cam filters that were on the stream the other day, the way I have to set things up to rig that to even work is that I have to, because of the other hardware that I use, I have to firstly, I have a scene in OBS, which is just my cam, right? So my camera connects directly to OBS. OBS then shares that with an NDI webcam piece of software to simulate a proper webcam, which then goes into a program called Snap Filter that handles the filters. That then goes into NVIDIA Broadcast, which does the green screening, which then goes back into OBS. So it does a full loop all the way around through about 4 different pieces of software, which was, unfortunately, even though my CPU is a bit of a monster, is still problematic that it was just using way too many system resources doing all of that for me to justify having them on. If I was to offload that to my second PC, maybe... Stupid game. Stupid game. Where is this flipping bird? Where is this goddamn stupid, ridiculous flipping... Where is it? Where is it? Is this a blacksmithing? Do I not have Outland... Oh, this is the wrong character. Oh, that's really going to annoy me. I need that on my main blacksmith. This isn't my main blacksmith. Boo. Oh well. You live and you learn. Custom, start group, blah blah blah, list, leave party, go. Right. If we can't waste beans on cam filters, let us waste beans on gambling, especially on this one that actually gives you ashes. Yes, you're probably right. I should be doing predictions at the same time, shouldn't I? I'm spending way too much time just talking today. What is the ideal streamer camera? I don't know. The cam I use is massively overkill. Like, honestly, a Logitech C920 is more than good enough. Because let's not forget, it sits in the corner of a screen. You get a 1080p broadcast, and I'm in the corner of it. Which means resolution and clarity and stuff basically doesn't matter. But it's for if I ever want to, like, you know, go full screen, that it's, you know, there's some clarity there, you know. I have a C920. Yeah, I've got one as well. I've got one. I have occasionally in the past had it switched on as like doggo cam. Right, that's failed attempt. That is now failed attempt number 6, isn't it? Damn. How did I manage? How has it taken me so long to do 6 runs? I've been streaming for nearly 3 hours. I've averaged 1 run every half an hour. Oh God, oh God, I'm slow today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 6 runs in 3 hours. Oh, they are rookie numbers. Don't underestimate the 40 series. I upgraded from a 3060 Ti, very close to a 3070, and I'm super happy. The performance increase whilst using a single 8-pin power cord is remarkable. Yeah, it's mostly the fact that I also purchased both of my graphics cards at a moment in history when graphics cards were still remarkably expensive. Meaning that I physically invested more into them than what I'm willing to so very quickly replace. Now, I know there's obviously the theory I could just sell them, but, you know, the value of them is diminished heavily since I bought them. But when I needed them, I needed them. So, you know, it's kind of how it works. Haven't they just released some info about the new 5 series of graphics cards or something? I may have seen a Linus Tech Tips thumbnail at some point talking about something about them. I've not watched it or looked into it though. Oh, I'm in slideshow mode again because I've loaded into a character. Sorry. One thing I could just do is make sure that NVIDIA Broadcast is running in admin mode. That would actually probably fix all of my problems. It will fix itself in a minute. Probably won't if I keep loading into new zones, but... The new super versions. No, genuinely actually new 5 series cards or something. There might not have been. Like I said, I'm going by a thumbnail. I'm not going by this. This is worse than headline hunting. Oh, is my camera actually straight up just froze now? Wow, I've got a very intense look on my face, don't I? I can say I actually don't. Or flipping Alec. Better not have. No, the rest of the stream works fine. My camera's just having a heart attack. There we go. Turn the background removal on and off. Seems to fix it. I just realised actually, it's also... Turn those off. Those don't need to be on. I wonder if that makes a difference. Sorry, I'll do computer diagnostics when I'm not live. The only problem is it's hard to replicate some of these issues when I'm not live, which is why I kind of weirdly need to try and figure out what the Christ is going on while I am live. It's not the most interesting of stream content, I appreciate, but... Oh, okay, let's not die again. Are we still effed? Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. If you still have an F, maybe hit F5. From what I can see, everything is still good. Technically, an ad is in progress as well. In fact, there's me telling you to press F5. If you're effed, you don't know that, do you? Right, this is the run. We're on a hunter. Surely it's got to happen on a hunter. At least we can run straight to the boss this time. Don't have to mess about. Oh, when's Hearthstone? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh, I want to test something actually. I heard a... I want to test this. Where's Sarge? Apparently, if you wave at Sarge, he gets a Hearthstone board out. Ha! That's awesome. If you slash wave with Sarge out, he takes out a Hearthstone board. Ah, that's genius. / wave. Yeah, go on, Sarge. Top tier pet, just for that. That's very clever. I wonder how many other little Easter eggs there are with pets that I don't know about. That's quite cool. Does anybody actually know if there's any other little sneaky things like that? Because that would make a banger of a video. Or some top tier YouTube shorts at the very least. Right, come on, Portal. In fact, this is going to take 5 minutes to spawn, isn't it? Meaning, can I zoom? There's a few others. I might need to look into this. That could make a banger of a video, you know. Bear knows a few of them. Yeah, she's into pets, isn't she? I should probably ask her. Or do some googling, see if there's a list or something somewhere. Is the portal up? Not yet. Right, straight to the boss. Straight to the boss. Yeah, I think the smartest move for me, PC-wise, is probably just to wait till the 5 series cards come out and invest in one of those early days. Weirdly, I think, you know, if you have the ability to, it often feels like, to me at least, it makes a lot of sense to... Not many things would I suggest this with, but I think graphics cards are one of those things that you are kind of... Smart's not the right idea, but it's just not a negative of if you invest early when they're brand new. Mostly because at least you will get value out of it for the longest amount of time. Sure, you pay twice as much as what you will do by somebody that buys it at the end of its generation, but you might have had 2 years of use out of it by that point anyway. So I might just wait until a 5 series graphics cards come out and invest in a good one of them, and then call it a day. Because the rest of my PC should last me 4 or 5 years easy. Right, this is coming. Because I'm already on AM5 motherboard, DDR5 RAM. I've already sort of taken the generational leap there. The best I could buy at the time was a 3070 graphics card to go with it. And then literally 3 days later, the 4 series got announced, which infuriated me, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'll find me that sugar daddy first. Two minutes. Haha, you bomb missed. Nvidia waited for you to buy them. Oh, quite literally. Yeah, literally. I bought a 3070. And 3 days later, they announced the 4070. I was like, you are joking. The problem was is I needed a graphics card and didn't have the ability to wait. Plus, the price of the 40 series when they came out was grim. So in a way, it wasn't too bad. 2 minutes. Surely his RP doesn't take more than 2 minutes, right? It feels like forever, but I don't actually think it's that long. Mobo and such are still overkill. Well, yeah, that was my theory, right? Because I obviously, you know, I bought my PC not to be the best gaming PC ever, but to be a bit of a multitasking powerhouse. And so I spent more of my budget on the CPU than I probably should have done. DDR5 7800 CPU's chilling at like 10 to 20% with most games. Yeah, what have I got CPU wise? I don't even know what it is I've got. I can't remember. I can't remember exact numbers. It says here somewhere, doesn't it? Oh, Ryzen 9 7900X. So yeah, rarely does my CPU go much above like 30-40%. Is my PC good at rendering YouTube videos? Well, I mostly use DaVinci Resolve, which fully takes advantage of my graphics card. So yeah, it crushes any rendering pretty heavily. Six seconds. Right, we might have to wait to loot this. Maybe it does take 2 minutes for the flipping RP to do. Ah! Get the tag. Ah! Imagine if I got ashes at the same time here. Right, go. Okay, ashes on one screen. Ashes on one screen. Hearthstone on the other. That's what we want. That's the play. Right. Which do we waste our stream? Which do we waste our streamer luck on? Why can't I loot shit? Hello? Wait, what? No loot? Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Not a bean? Oh, well, screw you, game. Rigged. Well, you know what that means, don't you? That means we're guaranteed to get ashes. Problem solved. Ashes. Thank me later, boys and girls. Job done. Boom. Easy game. Okay. Okay, we go again. We go again. Did you tag Dr. Boom, not just the other two? Yep. Yep. Stupid game. Alright, back in an hour. Right, 30 seconds of this work. Perfect opportunity for a quick toilet break. Back in 2 minutes, boys and girls. There is a chance of getting nothing if you have max wild cards in your bag and that is what you rolled as loot. You just don't get anything. Yeah, I guess that's the case. I guess I'm just shit out of luck. Imagine if I actually got it and didn't even realise I got it. Imagine if that was the case. That'd be really funny, wouldn't it? Don't you get the achievement instantly when you get it, though? I'm referring to ashes here, obviously. Right, shaman time. What's going on the subreddit? Let's have a look. Subreddit is very quiet at the moment. Automatically choosing which transmog to post based on sale rate and price. What's this? I saw this strategy in a video about managing transmog items in TSM. Kinda lost how to put it into action. They talked about creating groups and operations based on sell rate and market values. Wait, what? We might be able to chip in with our 2 cents on this. What's going on here? Surely you guys will have thoughts on this. Automatically choosing which transmog to post based on sale rate and price. I mean, starts off, smart suggestion. They talk about creating groups and operations based on sell rates and market values. Here's what they suggested. Create a group and throw all of your transmog items in it. Create 4 operations. Ooh. What? What? Sell rate greater than 0.04. If the DB region sale rate is greater than or equal to 0.04, 5, if not 0. Well, that wouldn't do anything. Because 5 and 0 are not valid operations. Sell rate is greater than or equal to 0.03 and gold is greater than or equal to 100. If the DB region sale rate is greater than or equal to 0.03, do this. If not, do this. Okay, they've clearly missed something here. I'm totally new to TSM, kind of clueless on where to begin with these settings. Does this strategy actually work? And if so, where do you type this information to make it happen? This... Without seeing the video in question, even I don't understand this. Because these are not valid. You can have, for transmog, I usually do not read or watch anything that has the word transmog in it. You kind of... I do not understand what they're referring to when they have like 5 and 0 in here, because these should be, these are not valid price sources. These need to be prices. Because that's how, if the DB region sale rate is greater than or equal, like I'm reading this out, not the way that it's wrote, but in English, if that makes sense. If the DB region sale rate is greater than or equal to 0.04, if that statement is true, do 5. If not, you do 0. That's basically what this is saying. But 5 isn't a valid price source, nor is 0. So clearly these are placeholder numbers for something else. Unless you additionally have custom price sources, but they would need to be custom price source names, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Yeah, these aren't valid. TSM if functions and how to use them. I think conditional operations detailed in that post are what you're looking for. I don't think this is what they're looking for. This is just an overview of what these do. You see, when you use these, you need to put valid price sources in for if this is true and if this is not true. Unless I've missed something. Oh, is it referring to item qualities? Yeah, you can reference item quality, but you can't reference it where they've referenced it. You can put item quality here and then have this say 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Are these quantities and not price? Yeah, they've clearly copy and pasted this from somewhere as well. Because if you're totally new to TSM, you wouldn't casually write these out in the way that they've wrote them out in such detail in a Reddit thread. So wherever they've copy and pasted these from, they're eluding quite a lot of the context of this. Because 5 refers to legendary. Or, yeah. Yeah. Some people can't be helped, unfortunately. I'm not really into transmog, but it's weird to have 100 gold as the lower limit. I wouldn't bother with anything under 1k probably, or even 3k as my lower limit. You'll quickly rack up costs for reposting items which will never sell. And transmog is a market where you need to handle thousands of items anyway to see some consistent profit. Look at any YouTube goal maker and you'll see that they have a second account so they can actually play the game instead of spending 3 hours a day posting a bunch of garbage. There's definitely truth to that. It's just a value return, so they're likely using that as a posting quantity. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're being referred to as, is the music scuffed? Or do you just not like the music? I'll turn the music off. Are we in frames mode again? If you're on frames mode again, there's nothing going wrong on my side. Oh, the music has gone funky. Another thing that I don't understand why it does. Music's lagging. Oh, I'll just turn the music off. I don't know why it does that from time to time. Meanwhile, I only buy transmog I'm missing if it's under 100 gold. Yeah. The one of the most common issues I see with transmog generally is that nearly everybody, I'm not going to say absolutely everybody, but nearly everybody is using historical data. Now, historical data is problematic because it can't always be trusted, nor does it mean that it's entirely valid for what you're doing. Right, just because the DB region market average price of a thing has been such a thing, these are listing prices. So often I see people using either DB market or DB region market, and that's like, I mean, any price source you use in TSM is based on historical data, but that's not even historical sale data, which is why it blows my mind that so many people choose to use it as their valuation point. Surely something more sensible would actually be some actual sales data. And I don't understand why so few people ever choose to use like the actual sales data that TSM can provide you. If you're using banana or potato to split the audio, it pressures CPU heavy. I'm not using that at all. It's all done through OBS. Because yes, I did find that a problem in the past as well. Yeah, the TLDR with transmog is like, people need to put 100% more focus into the selling side of transmog, more so they do than the farming. This person's clearly on the right path as they've tried to find a smarter way of selling it, but the spaghetti at the wall approach I still don't think is the best approach with transmog, because you will just end up burning you'll burn a bunch of gold in listing fees. Second to that, it will also take you 5 times longer to do. But then again, at the same point, I also don't think that the solution is strictly just to ignore everything under a certain value, because I would hazard a guess that some of the most frequent selling items are probably items that are worth less than 1,000 gold, which those small numbers do also add up. It's a bit of a problem. It's still a dog with fleas. Yeah, the whole thing's a bit of a tricky situation. People who know me and know me well will know I've never really been too much of a fan of transmog, because it feels like a bit of an illusion for most. People see dollar signs spinning in their head when they look at transmog. You know, they see a loot appraiser challenge and they're like, "Wow, somebody made 200,000 gold in an hour." Did they heck? They might have picked up 200,000 gold worth of stuff. The word worth is subjective there very heavily. Then they have to spend a bunch of time over the next 6 months trying to sell some of it. So if you pro-rata how much gold you actually generate based on how many hours you actually spend playing the game to achieve it, it rarely works out very effective. Even farming raw materials is usually a better solution. I was hoping there'd be something in this that I could chip in with my 2 cents with, but I think this person, unfortunately, without linking the video that they were referencing, has missed something, and I don't know what they've missed, because this does look like quantities, not actually pricing operations. It will, I mean, yeah, if these are quantities, in a way, having all of these zeros will mean that whatever's left in your bags after you do the post scan, you can kind of quite comfortably just delete it, just take it to a vendor. But that's still putting an awful lot of trust in vast quantities of unreliable data. People should learn to do things manually before they try and use an add-on like TSM to speed up the process. Is my overall advice with TSM. If you don't know how to do it manually, you are definitely not going to know how to do it in an automated fashion, I think. Do we do one last Ashes run? I think I want to do one last Ashes run, and then I'm going to go get me some food because my PC is clearly having problems because I'm in slideshow mode again. You know what we do? We just log this one out. I don't know why it's using so many system resources to have a second account in the background running at 20 FPS, but it's causing a problem somewhere somehow. Do I not even have... Wow, does this character not even have the fastest flying speed? Dragon riding... Master riding, you can now ride at the high... Okay, maybe regular flying just feels slow. Oh! Haha! This is a Horde character, an Alliance character. Yeah, not allowed into Ogrimmar, my friend. Not today. God, I'm tempted for another coffee, you know. But if I inject myself with more caffeine for the day, I'll be up until tomorrow. Yeah, Dark Portal.
Have a good one.
Dark Portal, fly. Wait, what? Why is he red? Wait, what? Hello? Why is he red? Why is he red? What? Is he red for Alliance characters? What? So confused. He's never been red before. Algarian Storm. This is the pre-order bonus mount. Why is he red? Huh? He's never been red before. They change colours. I've literally never seen it be red before. Very odd. It's a skin, you choose it at the... It changes colours. Have I got some toy activated or something? No. Do you change it at the dragon riding place, maybe? Does he have different colours? Have I done that somehow on this character without even ever realising I've done it somehow? Possibly. I must have done. I didn't even know he could be different colours. What other colours can he be? Magic. What do you know? If I land and mount up again, is he going to change colour? He's still red. There's 4 different ones if I recall. Oh, I never knew. I clearly must have done. Maybe I'm going senile in my old age. Entirely possible. Right. Well, in that case, if we've got a magic red bird, let's go get ourselves another red-coloured bird, shall we? Let's make it happen. Should probably loot stuff. Oh dear, maybe we shouldn't loot stuff. Okay. It's alright, we'll just run straight to boss. Easy peasy. I still feel foolish for... I've actually had to pre-order the new expansion twice now. Because I made the mistake when I pre-ordered it the first time. I applied it to the wrong account. I still feel silly for doing that. Thank the Lord I get my upgrades with gold. And didn't actually spend cash monies on a second account of the game before the game's even out. That would be tragic. There's a red, yellow, and blue. Oh, okay. I might go and investigate that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I probably did it on day 1 of getting the mount, doing the pre-order, and had just entirely forgot that it's a thing. This is why I think if there's any other like little pets that have like funky sort of Easter eggs to them, it'd make a cool video. Because Sarge flipping out a Hearthstone board is very cool. A lot of people were like, "Oh, a rat," but now he levels up that he has a funky Easter egg with him, or at least he does in my books. Right, drop me some ashes, please.
Energy, power. My people are
This is
addicted
the one.
to it.
This is the one.
Independence made
We can
manifest
get
after the
this,
Sunwell was
and then I can go and eat some
destroyed.
food, and
Welcome
everything
to
will
the
be good.
future. A pity you are too late to stop it. No one can stop
Cats
me
can
now.
sit on your lap, and parrots can sit on your shoulder. Oh, that's quite cool. I'll have to figure some of that out. I've got plenty enough different pets that surely I should have a few that do some funky things.
Prepare yourselves!
Prepare yourselves.
Blood for blood.
The sloth gets on your back as a backpack. Oh, that's quite clever.
Thus endure I reign supreme.
I didn't know this about the pets. I didn't know they had funky animations. This is one that, you know, it's I dumpster on World of Warcraft as much as the next person. Yet even after playing the game for 20 years, there are still from time to time things that, you know, come out of the woodwork and surprise me that I didn't know about. It's actually quite easy to forget the scale of this game. It is ridiculous. But this is also why the fact that it has lasted 20 years is equally the reason why I think a lot of people have pretty high expectations nowadays for the game as well. It's more understandable to be more critical of something that's lasted 20 years. Because there, in theory, should be a reason why it lasted 20 years, you know. If it was a piece of shit from the word go, it wouldn't have lasted, but if it grabs the attention of people. Is there no, like, maybe we can put some in-game music on? It's very quiet. Is there music in here? There is. The tension grows. Maybe we don't need to see anything but the important thing. That's all we need to see. Boom. This is the one. This is the one. I forgot to do a prediction again for like the 17th time today. I'm a terrible streamer.
Forgive me, my friends. I have
Will not.
How did I kill 2 of them with 1 flame shock? How's that a thing? Oh, I'm facing the wrong way. What a donkey.
More perils await.
Alas, sometimes one must take matters into one.
I have not come this far to be
One
stopped.
must take matters
The
into
future
one's
I have
own
planned will
hands.
not be jeopardized.
One
Now
who
you
uses
will
the phrase
taste true
one
power.
is often a knob. I should be careful, I use that occasionally myself. Right, just give me the bird! Roast chicken. I want it. I really hope I haven't opened Pandora's box with this. I really hope, and I was kind of assuming that luck would be on my side with this, and that, you know, 10, 15 kills, GG, well played. I really hope I haven't opened a can of worms and this ends up taking me 500 attempts or something. Then I really would cry. Not that it wouldn't be bad, it wouldn't be good for content, mind. I'm just not sure I have the patience to stretch it out. Right, this is it though. Ashes. Ashes. I mean, this is the last time we killed him. Take your screenshots, boys and girls, because this is the last time you'll see him dead. The last time you'll see him dead, because he's going to give me the mount, and we're going to stroll out of here, and we're going to fly around, and we're going to be happy goblins. Now. Hello? Inventory full? Damn, never lucky. Stupid game. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Well, we tried. We tried. RNG, you a bitch. RNGesus, you are not my friend. Well, Bear can rest at ease. Bear can rest at ease. That, I think, was the 8th attempt today. No joy. No joy. It'll be a great meme when you end up getting the Bruto before you get Ashes. Oh, Lord. What have I started? I shouldn't have started, should I? I think that's attempt number 8. I'm pretty sure that's number 8. Damn. Damn strawberry jam. Well, I can go eat some food. I can relax for the afternoon. And maybe we'll have another blast this evening. Who knows? Who knows? I need to go back and play some Deep Rock Galactic, you know. We still haven't conquered Hazard 5. I'm slowly developing a really bad habit of getting most of the way through a game and then not completing it. I got to about level 46, 47 in Pal World and then stopped playing. We got to about level 90, I think, in Last Epoch and then stopped playing. We got to Hazard 4 in Deep Rock Galactic and then stopped playing. I need this to not be a habit. We need to finish what we start. Where's me yak? Let's get this gear. Let's clear some inventory a little bit. Right, I'm not gonna filter my way through this. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hazard 5 is hard AF. Well, I've conquered Hazard 4, so Hazard 5 shouldn't be too difficult. I believe I'm at the point where I've nearly got every single passive maxed, so it's just about getting the right build. and ramping it. Sounds like when I play Skyrim, never actually done the main quest to the end. I always find it funny, right? I'm going to talk about Factorio again for a minute here, but I always find it really funny when people have played Factorio for quite literally hundreds of hours, but have never actually sent a rocket into space. And I'm like, wow, okay. You've probably been so close so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was my 8th fail today. That's my level 70s. We did it on all of our 70s today. And we did not see success. Which is a shame. Oh well. Oh well. Boys and girls, that's me done for the day though. Let's go eat some food. Let's go relax for a little while. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful one. If you have been watching live, thank you very much. Appreciate all the follows, the subs, the bits, the primes, all of the above. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will be back tomorrow. Peace. Preferably with less technical issues. Fingers crossed.